Do you remember junior high or middle school if you're a little bit younger? I do. I hated it. I was at Fred Moore Junior High, and it was full of cliques from top to bottom. On the top floor was smokers who hung out. I was always a little bit afraid of them. On the second floor was the popular girls. I really wasn't part of that group because I couldn't do the splits, which means that I couldn't get on the cheerleading squad. The athletes were on the main level, and then the kind of outsiders, the people with little issues, we were in the theater group. Those cliques were so hard to navigate, and it made life so much more difficult. Wouldn't it be nice if cliques stayed in junior high? Well, I hate to say it, cliques are in organizations all over the place. And social groupings can be really important. I mean, you need to get to know each other. You need to build those important relationships. Studies have found that social groupings or cliques are actually much more of a problem in a virtual work environment. And it makes sense because when you walk in the door in a face-to-face office, you see people, you hang out with people, you see other people, you see that they're real people and they're nice people and they're normal people, right? But in a virtual environment, you pretty much stay with the same group of people, especially if you're on a team together. And once again, it's natural, it's normal to build relationships with those people and to trust those people. But it's really easy in that virtual environment to move from a regular, good, positive social grouping to a clique. Because there's a couple of things that happen with cliques. First of all, there's a problem with information flow. So if you tend to just kind of let information sort of naturally dissipate and disseminate through an organization, that's fine. But in a virtual environment, people don't just sit and talk to each other. You only get to know the information that you get from your group. Now, what happens when you're in another group, or even more important, when you're not in any group? Then the information doesn't get to you. You don't have the information you need to do the kind of job that you need to do. Also, if I'm sitting there and I realize that I don't know what's going on and everybody else does, you can imagine how that makes me really start to feel like an outsider. So the virtual environment does all sorts of things with kind of how we see ourselves, whether we're insiders or outsiders. It also kind of creates this us versus them mentality. And a couple of things that research has suggested with cliques is that we begin to see ourselves as much more positive, awesome, good, and the people that are not in my clique, that are outsiders, as much more negative. So the stereotypes and the prejudices and the biases really start to come into play. I might see those other people as power hungry, as lazy, as really not very nice people who just really don't understand the job. But the thing is, I probably don't even know them that well. I know my people better. And this clique has created this idea that they're the outsiders, they're the bad guys, we're the good guys. And the third thing that can happen is what I call drama incubation, right? When you're with your friends and something goes wrong, it's just normal. You just complain with them. And it's really easy to just have the complaining. It's this called emotional contagion, right? It's just like, I'm upset. Oh, now I'm really upset. Oh, I can't believe those people did that. And it's going to happen much quicker and much more easily in the virtual environment. So what do you do if you're the manager and you see these social groupings starting to really impede on this idea that you had of having a cohesive, committed team that works together? A couple of things. First of all, be careful about information, right? Make sure that everybody gets the same information. Secondly, make sure that every now and then you switch it up, right? So you don't want to add too much chaos into the whole system, but sometimes you got to break apart certain teams and have people work with new people. That will hopefully dissipate some of the negative things that are happening in these social groups. And finally, if you are in a social group, I know I like to think that I'm so far away from middle school at this point. I would never do something like that. But I realized it wasn't too long ago that it's really easy for me to begin to see us versus them. So I really have to check. Now, wait a second. What are the biases I have towards that person? Do I really know that person? Am I giving that person the benefit of the doubt? That person who's outside of my group? Social groupings and cliques are natural. They can be really positive, but in a virtual environment, if we're not paying attention, they can absolutely destroy the psychological safety and the cohesiveness that we're trying so hard to build.